All right, so we're doing the review for your quiz over 7.3 and 7.4. When you're done with this review, you are going to get a quiz from the sub, and you can use the review on the quiz. And you can only use the review on the quiz. On problem number 1, it's a simple exponent rule. Because you have parentheses, I know that means I need to multiply my exponents. And so 5 times 12 is going to be 60. So this k is now going to get an exponent of a 60. There isn't an exponent on the outside of this k, so I'm just going to drop down k7. Now because both of these are k's, you can combine them, and when you are multiplying, you add your exponents. So 60 plus 7 is going to give you k67. All right, on number 2, I don't see any parentheses, but I do have these numbers. And so I'm going to type in, go ahead, yep. I'm going to type in those numbers, and I type them in just like I see them on the paper, so I'm going to type them as a fraction, 16 over 2, which gives me 8. So I now know my number is going to be an 8. Well, when you're dividing, you subtract your exponents. And so I'm going to put a little understood 1 with that A and an understood 1 with the C's. All right, so 5 minus 1 is going to be A4. And 0 minus negative 9, well, if you have to do that in the calculator, 0 minus negative 9 is going to be positive 9. All right, so you see 0 minus negative 9, positive 9. And then 1 minus 1, which is 0. Well, remember, anything to the 0 power is that understood 1, so we are not going to write that. I'm just going to write 8A4B9. Right on number 3, it's another exponent rules. When you see these parentheses, you know you should be multiplying your exponents. And just because this is a fraction, you're still multiplying. So in your calculator, you're going to do 4 times 1/2, which gives you 2. And then 24 times 1/2, which gives you 12. All right, and then just how we did number 1, since both of these are z's, I can combine them, and when you combine, you add your exponents, and so that's going to be z14. Number 4 is a little trickier. The one thing that a lot of people make the mistake of is they forget about the number. The 5 has an understood exponent as a 1, just like the y does. So this 2 is going to distribute to all 3 of those exponents. So you're going to get 5 squared, x 6 times 2, which is 12, and y2. The 1/3 is going to distribute to both of these guys. So if you are a little shaky on your fractions, use a calculator. 3 times 1/3 is going to be 1. That's going to be x1, and 30 times 1/3 is going to be 10. Once you get to this point, the number you type in the calculator. So I'm going to type it in just like I see it, 5 squared, and I get 25. The x's I'm going to combine, and when you combine them, you add your exponents. I get x13, and I'll do the same thing with the y's, and I'm going to add the y exponents and get y12. All right, so these are the ones that we did yesterday. First thing I'm going to do on these guys is I'm going to type it in, 10 square root of 36. If it gives you a whole number, that is your answer. You don't need to break it down or do anything else. If it gives you a whole number, that's your answer, and move on. All right, so let's talk about one that doesn't give you a whole number. All right, so my first step is still gonna be to type it in, square root of 125. All right, and so I know that this is 11.18. All right, but I don't like decimals is my answer. So I'm gonna break this down. Remember when you're breaking this down, try 2, 3, 5, 7. Most of the time, dividing this number by one of these guys is gonna help break it down. So in my calculator, it doesn't matter which one, just start with 2. If it gives you a decimal, it doesn't work. All right, so then I'm gonna try 3. Gives me a decimal, doesn't work. So then I'm gonna try 5. That one works. All right, so 125 breaks down to be 5 and 25. And we're gonna do the same thing with 25. So we're gonna start with 2, doesn't work. Try 3, doesn't work. Try 5, that one works. And 5 you can't break down anymore, that is a prime number. Because it's a square root, we're looking for a group. So this group of 5, it's gonna go on the outside. They're gonna go on a date, but you write it one time. So for every pair that you circle, you write one number. This is your leftover, and it's gonna go back on the inside. So this is my final answer. Now let's check and make sure